This is being held today in reference to an arrest that was made last night about 10:20 at the home of Kellen Hubert, who is a teacher at Corydon Junior High School. He has been arrested for child seduction, and the investigation is continuing as we speak this morning. The investigation has been going on for about a week, and so with that, give you the prosecutor.
Sure. Mr. Hubert is charged with a Class 5 felony of child seduction. And, it's important to note that the age of consent in Indiana is 16 years old, which is the age of our victim. However, in Indiana, there's a special exception for that teacher-student relationship, and that's exactly what we have here. Anytime you have allegations of sexual abuse with a child, naturally that's going to always raise red flags, even more so when those allegations involve a student-teacher. He is currently set for trial in March of 2015. He was brought up on his initial hearing this morning, where he posted a $10,000 full cash bond. A term and condition of his bond is that he's to have no contact with any child under 18 years of age. The probable cause affidavit, which I think I'll let the chief get into here shortly, we'll go into a little more of the details. Again, he is set for trial in March. Efficiency and speed that this investigation took place, and we really attribute that to the South Harrison School Corporation, Corydon Central High School, Corydon Central Junior High School. The very moment they learned of this, they were able to coordinate with the student resource officer, who coordinated with the sheriff's department as well as the prosecutor's office. Again, just the speed and efficiency of this investigation has been one of the utmost remarkable investigations in terms of speed we've ever seen, and that would not be possible without the community cooperation that we have between law enforcement and South Harrison School Corporation. So I just want to give a big tip of the hat to South Harrison School Corporation. I think parents should certainly be relieved that they've acted with the efficiency and effectiveness that they have in this investigation.
Well, we received some information from the school corporation itself, who was in contact with the resource officer. And let me preface this by saying that the investigation was instantly delivered to the resource officer, who made contact with the police department. So in cooperation with the school system, the school resource officer, and the Harrison County Sheriff's Department, once the information, I guess, from the words of Dr. Eastridge, I guess in seconds of this information being made available, it was in the police hands. So it's just a very, very efficient process that's set up in the school system with the police department that really works, and it was efficient in this particular case, which allowed us the opportunity to gather supporting evidence that will help with the case itself.
Have you ever had any complaints about him in the past?
Not to my knowledge.
I mean, this is probably just shocking as a...
Very much so. Very much so.
What is his current status with the school district?
I do have a point on that. The school corporation has initiated internal proceedings under Indiana law to dismiss Mr. Hubert from his employment with the South Harrison Community School Corporation.
Is that standard to do at a time where this hasn't made its way through the court system yet?
With the information we have, we feel that appropriate to move forward at this time.
Okay. Has he given any indication that he's going to appeal that?
We have not had any conversation with him at that point.
Can you talk a little bit about the probable cause affidavit, what you have found in the investigation?
Well, it's pretty much self-explanatory. At this particular point, with him being a teacher and the student relationship, that's where the child seduction comes into play as the actual charge against it. There was some sexual contact, or misconduct, I guess would be the proper word to use in this case, but without going specifically into it, the affidavit itself is self-explanatory.
Did any of this occur on school grounds?
Yes, it did.
And the victim is 16. He taught junior high, so can you talk about how they met? Was this a junior high student, or was she in high school?
She's a high school student. He's a very popular teacher from my understanding. I mean, he's an assistant football coach, very popular with the staff and with the students at school itself. So, you know, he has an outgoing personality, and I'm sure that whatever contact was made originated at the school and proceeded from there.
I just want to be clear, I thought he was a high school teacher and he used to be a junior high teacher.
Junior high school does teach, had taught journalism at the high school level, but the majority of his time was spent at the junior high school as a teacher, although he had coached this fall as assistant football coach at the high school.
So back and forth between.
He interacts in between, but both the school systems are right beside each other.
Right.
Junior and senior high school are
Connect.
together,
Yes.
and it connects, so I mean, he has access to both facilities.
Dr. Eastridge, just looking into him a little bit, and what, of course, we've heard the chief describe, he's obviously someone very ingrained in school culture, very popular, not just on school campuses, but with other education programs.
When you look at teaching assignment and coaching activities and athletic director, very much so.
So with someone who is that part of the school culture, that ingrained to hear of a alleged betrayal of this kind, how's that make you feel?
Well, I do have a statement to read to you on that. At South Harrison, we pride ourselves on providing a school corporation that is intellectually, socially, emotionally, and physically safe for our students at all times. This alleged incident is in direct contrast to what we believe at South Harrison about the well-being of our students. Let me be clear, these types of incidents that allegedly occurred cannot and must not occur. It will be investigated and dealt with forcefully. This community must be able to trust our schools and staff with the care and well-being of their students at all times.
Tell us how the surveillance footage and then the text messages played a part of the investigation.
Well, it helped us with a timetable. It allowed us to take the information that we received, and we were able to support it with the actual video of activity involving both parties. So, I mean, there's the texts goes back, we're looking at hundreds of texts between them. We're looking at surveillance video that is within the time frame and the timetable of the information that we received, which makes it a pretty solid case.
And just to echo what Dr. Eastridge said earlier, anytime, you know, the Harrison County's most valuable assets are held in our schools. And, you know, naturally it's going to be a priority for police, the school administration, and the prosecution to make sure that these our most valuable assets are protected at all times. And when you have allegations like this, you see the response which we had, which was in essence from within seconds or maybe minutes from the moment this came to light. There was an instant reaction by those that are tasked with keeping these our children safe, and that's very apparent throughout this investigation.
And so, from what we've seen, he's got going on a 6-year teaching history. What, in your experience, makes someone go from being a model teacher to someone everyone loves to engaging behavior like this?
I can't really speak to that.
What you're looking at is a human factor. I mean, we're human beings, and who knows what triggers an individual to do certain acts or certain conduct. It's just a human factor that we all deal with in any walk of life. And that's the reason we're as generic as we can be, because there is a juvenile involved in this. So our words that we use to divulge what has occurred is, you know, the misconduct and the touching and the fondling and things like that, but we won't go into any other details.
From what the student says, was the student a willing participant, or did the student change, or I guess, what was the student's role in this?
At this particular time, it was consensual. And when you're talking about a 16-year-old, according to the law, they have the right to consent. And the only problem that we really have in this particular case is that you had a teacher who had authority over a student of his, and that's what puts us in this category. Otherwise, you really may not have a crime.
Was she ever his student?
I can't speak with certainty on that. I'm unsure at this point in time.
Regardless, for Indiana law, there's such a deference given to that teacher-student relationship that despite the fact that she may be the legal age of consent, it's still a crime because of the power that a teacher or an administrator has over that student in their role through their employment.
Is the charge any different in that regard, that she is of age but it's a teacher?
Well, in essence, that's what deviates, when you're 16 years old, otherwise that wouldn't be a crime. So it becomes child seduction, which is a level 5 felony, when you have that special relationship or bond, that a student has with that teacher.
Can you talk to us about a level 5 felony?
Sure.
What sort of penalties is
Yeah,
there?
a level 5 felony has a range of penalties from 1 year to 6 years in the Indiana Department of Corrections. So obviously, anytime you have a significant loss of freedom, it's an indication that the lawmakers intended to take this seriously, and that's something we plan on doing. And I think it would be certainly prudent for all of us to take any time you have a crime like this, to take it seriously, and that's exactly what we plan on doing.
Now, is this, I'm sorry if we're just trying to read through it really quickly, are you charging separate counts for each act that you're able to document?
At this point, there is one level 5 felony filed. If that may or may not change in the future, right now this is our primary focus, is this one level 5 felony.
And that student, that young woman, it was consensual, I guess, until a point. So, but apparently she does detail what went on. Was it just when confronted with it, she just simply didn't lie, or how did that play out?
Correct. As the information is being investigated, obviously one of the facets of that investigation is to interview the victim. Mm-hmm. And she's been forthcoming, and it's an ongoing investigation. There will be issues that are still being addressed, but at this particular time, we're only looking at the one count.
So we hear it was going around the school corporation. Was this start out with people at school just started to talk? Were there rumors, people saying, hey, there's something not right between Mr. Hubert and...
We really can't comment on that at this particular time because it is ongoing. The way that it got initiated is something that we're still working on, and with it being an ongoing investigation, we'd rather not say anything at this time.
Is there any concern that there may be other victims? And if so, who should they contact?
At this particular time of the investigation, we don't have any information that leads us to believe that. However, there is always a possibility that someone else could be involved, and all they have to do is contact the police department here in Harrison County, and we will get in touch with them and deal with it. But at this particular juncture of the investigation, we don't have that information available to us.
Also, this morning, the administrators in both schools talked to all students from classroom to classroom and have made guidance counselors available if they would have any issues or need to share any information with them. We have guidance counselors on site to counsel with them, and then we have our school resource officer on site to work with them. If there would be any issues arise or there would be any further information, they know that those folks are available for them.
And Dr. Eastridge, if you could talk to us about, I guess, the termination proceedings, how exactly it works. Is he away from campus until it becomes official? How does that?
Away from campus, yes. And it would be handled, there would be a 5-day period before, and if requested, there would be a conference with me. Mm-hmm. And then after that, there would be another period of time, and then there would be a conference with the Board of Trustees.
No, let me just say that the surveillance video supports the information that we have and ties the case pretty close together. There was no video of the actual offense itself, but just supporting substantial stuff that we'll use later on in the case.
Like same time, same place?
Times and locations and numbers of individuals and things like that, dates and times and places.
Did he confess at all to this when you questioned him?
No, ma'am.
No. He denied it?
No, ma'am.
He didn't say anything?
He asked for an
He got
attorney.
his lawyer.
But, he couldn't comment because of some of the things that he would comment if he did was that it could be a crime. So, he was aware of what he was doing.
Office, the Harrison County Sheriff's Department, and Corydon Police Department for working so promptly and so closely with us in the investigation. I really feel that their action should also be praised. The openness and the sharing, the swiftness and thoroughness in the investigation, I think they should be commended.